St. Clair, and I'm back out on these YouTube streets. You know, my God, my God. God is a vindicator, y'all. And the Holy Spirit has a way of allowing the truth to come out and surface no matter how much they try to bury things, no matter how much they try to conspire together and come up with a story. The truth always rises to the top like cream. And I can't go into too many details about my personal case because it's still in litigation. But just know that I'm winning because people conspired to set me up at my old job. And once they tried to come with the story and fix it to where I'm the one that looked like the guilty party, they told on themselves, y'all. And I'm saying all of that to say that Tory Lanez has been in jail for years. And he suffered in jail for years, y'all. That man sat up there and suffered. And I knew something was going on. And this is just based on my own discernment. Let me tell you something. When the event first happened with Megan the Stallion, okay? Academics, that was at the time that I would follow academics heavy because, I kind of wanted to keep my ear to the streets and he always had the plug on things. He immediately came out, y'all, and said, I got word and this is what happened. This is the truth. But he almost immediately got shut down and the truth was buried. I remember the day academics said that Megan Thee Stallion and Kelsey were fighting, and Kelsey is the one that took the gun and shot at Megan, and that Tory Lanez had tried to take the gun away, and it fired off. And I already knew that things were confirmed within my spirit when that girl had complete immunity. Why are they protecting? I thought, why all of a sudden they want to protect her and give her immunity? And for a long time, she wasn't talking. She wasn't saying nothing. And then when she would go live, she would say a whole bunch of nothing. And people in the streams and everybody got paid. The media got paid. She got paid. Everybody got paid. And she came out and said things, but did not say anything valid concerning this whole scenario. And I don't know what Daystar, aka Tory Lanez, what he had done or who he had pissed off in the industry. I do know that he has had trial after trial, doing things, being just erratic and just unruly and disrespectful. He could be all of these things. But shooting Megan and being the shooter and that whole event, he did not do that. And I am a firm believer that he just needed to go through Jonah experience, because even though he didn't do that, he went through a humbling experience for all that he had done. So he's been in jail. He tried to talk from jail, but he still was not really coming forth with the full story. I don't know why he just didn't tell the full truth. I don't know why he was protecting Kelsey. I have no idea. But he himself would still say things and not say the full story. And we watched this girl straight up go on live and tell the world that this man shot her, that she saw him shoot her. And then we watched her go to SNL talking about protect a black woman. And then we saw her go on tour and promote her album. We saw her move forward as if nothing. We saw her get a full-on makeover. Her body was a lot more leaner. Her skin was lighter. She went through a whole rebranding. She began to date uh, people that weren't in the country, soccer players, and date different people that were valid. And she went through a whole rebranding. And soon the world began to forget about the Kelsey and Tory Lanez and Megan Thee Stallion situation. And she got to be on business as usual. We watched her perform during the inauguration, which was a mess. There was talk that she could not fill seats. They tried to pair her with Glorilla. They tried to pair her with Beyonce. She had what I view as a struggling career and a struggling hard time. She ended up leaving 300 and signing on with Roc Nation, and she's been a flop ever since. I don't know about y'all, but I liked Megan when she had some innocence about her, when she was the student, when she was Megan Pete about to graduate, and when she just was a young girl with talent and something fresh to give the world. And I rooted for her. And when I saw her on NPR Tiny Desk, I was so excited for her. I was excited for the great things. But unfortunately, tragedy struck. She felt alone. She felt like she didn't have anybody. Her mom had passed away. There was talk about her being some sort of an alcoholic and being pretty friendly with her private parts. And, she found comfort, allegedly, in her friend's man and would begin to entertain him. And this, based on the information that has hit the streets now, was an act of crime of passion. Why they chose to bury that boy and put him in jail and cover up the truth, I don't know. I don't know who he pissed off. I don't know what he had done, maybe to the higher ups. I have no idea. But one thing I do know is that he has somebody praying for him. And I know his father was outraged. And I remember his father being outraged at a press conference. And I was mad with his father because I'm like, you know how your son is. You know he pops off at the drop of a dime. And now that he is being punished, now you want to step up and say something. And it's natural, only natural for you to feel defeated because you're actually being punished for something that you didn't do. But at the same time, my question is why? Why were they just so closed-mouthed? Why couldn't it have been cut and dry? Number one, if he had done it, they should have had proof, and boom, he go to jail or be deported. But no, they just kept egging it on and drowning it out. And people were disappearing from the case. And this person has immunity. And this person is straight out saying, you shot me. And then you're going on. Dateline with Gail King, you are going on a press tour to put this nigga beneath the surface, while you yet live your life as if you've done nothing wrong. And even when you try to live your life as if you've done nothing wrong, you can't none of your relationships are sticking, none of them are working out. Your streams, they're failing and they're very low. You can't fail in auditorium no matter who they put you next to. You can't succeed. They put you next to Kamala Harris during the inauguration, and no one was rooting for you. There were so many people that were more or less embarrassed. And here it is today. They run a press release that there is someone, a driver, who came out to vindicate Daystar, aka Tory Lanez. And this boy had to be locked up in jail. And he's a small man. So with his small man's complex, he's getting money, but he's paying off this person, paying off that, which he should have never done, because it leaves room for extortion. He's walking around like he's the big shot. He becomes Muslim, seeking refuge and protection. And yet he is still stabbed 14 times in prison. He would have never been in prison had the truth come out earlier and people did not lie on him, as well as keep their mouth closed about the truth. And like I said, I've never been a fan of Tory Lanez. All of his fans were talking about that Megan is lying, that there was holes in the story, that there was a disconnect with things, and it was business as usual. It was like putting your feet in the sand at the beach and a big wave just come and wash your footprints away. But I want to let you know that God, vengeance is mine, saith the Lord. And God, if God be for us, who could be against us? It may take him some time. See, sometimes God will, and you say, God, why didn't you move for me earlier? But sometimes God he's the ultimate omniscient God. And he has a way of doing things to where he can properly expose everybody. And you can see them fall in things that even work out for them, even when they try. They tried to bury that boy and move on with life. But look at everybody who's in cahoots. Look at their life. Look at how things have not been going well for them. Look at how they've been exposed. Look at how they're paying out of pocket for protection, and paying out of pocket to manipulate the media, and paying out of pocket to manipulate the media not to talk to them. Paying out of pocket to only show people in a good light. And it's not working. And let me tell you something. You can't do people any kind of way. And me knowing now that God, Tory Lanez's father is a God-fearing man, after God's heart, before he leaves this earth, I'm sure that God made a promise to him. And the promise is yet unfolding. But we had to see it unfold. We had to see things and people fail. Oh, what a tangled web we weave when we conspire to concede. Y'all, I don't know what's going to happen now. This boy might be released and celebrated, and he might be able to attain everything he lost and then some and recoup things. I don't know what's going to happen to Kelsey. I don't know what's going to happen to Megan, but apparently it was set up so they can't be touched. But she agitated him and tried to put a restraining order while the man is in prison and just doing the most to stay relevant. These kids, what, Megan been out almost 10 years? These kids are on to something else. The music has changed. The culture has changed. And Cardi and Megan, yes, they are now taking the place of Nicki Minaj. You know, this is a whole new generation of kids. And they honor and remember what was playing while they were in their car seats or while they were being picked up in school, what their mama was playing. And they love that. It's a memory, it's an oldie. But these kids are onto something else now. And so, with all of that being said, y'all, you may have been lied on, you may have been talked about, and you may have had to suffer because of somebody else's lie. But this is a different time. And God is turning the tables, y'all. And think it not strange when your phone rings and it's someone that you haven't talked to in a long time. Or you receive a text message by somebody who has completely wronged you. It could be your cousin who lied on you. It could be your baby daddy who sat up there and said he didn't have no job and no income. It could be your baby daddy mama who covered for her son knowing that he had done you wrong. It could be a woman who said the baby is yours, but it turned out not to be, and she collected funds and made you throw birthday parties and included your whole family. Just because you were a good person and she wanted to select you to take care of a responsibility that had nothing to do with you. The tables are turning, y'all, and the curtains are being pulled back, and they go from the biggest moguls that we grew up looking and listening to the preachers. Everybody is being exposed. So if you have been wronged in any type of way, y'all, if you've been lied on and talked about and mistreated, and you screamed to the top of your lungs where no one heard you, I want to let you know that God heard you. And he is allowing people to get their sweet revenge. You probably even forgot about it. You probably even lost hope and said, you know what? That happened. I'm going to move on with my life. But it hardened your heart to where you couldn't trust anybody. That you went into protection mode for yourself because you felt unprotected. But I want to let you know that God has not forgotten about you. Even when we are not even worthy enough for him to come to our rescue. Yeah, sure, Tory Lanez has a laundry list of things that he's done. But he didn't deserve this. I have a laundry list of things that I may have done. Not to the degree of what Tory has done, but I have made mistakes. I have not always handled things in the right way. But to be lied on and talked about and to be presented as such that you're not is just the ultimate disrespect. And if it can really take you up out of here. The depression, the anxiety, don't worry about what they think. Why you care about what they think? Because that's all I've been trained to do is care about what people think. From getting dressed on Sunday morning and having to wear a slip and a girdle up underneath my clothes and hosiery, to dressing my best on picture day, to going to an interview with my hair done and the proper attire, to trying to get into the club and not being turned away because I had to have proper attire. And you know, you have been groomed to care about what people think of you. So when someone is lying on you and lying on your character and saying that you're this and you're that and you did this and you did that, and it's not true, yes, it bothers you. Yes, it angers you. So when people come up and say, you shouldn't care, don't let these people gaslight you. You should care what people think about you. Because based on what they think about you is how they're going to treat you. And they're not only going to treat you bad, but they're going to train others to treat you bad and paint you in a bad light and damage your reputation. And all you got is your reputation, y'all. Hi, everybody. Thank you so much for joining me. You know, we started off talking about Tory Lanez and the press release that was given concerning Kelsey, friend of Megan, our ex-friend of Megan. Her driver has come forth and exposed that he himself has heard her admit that she's the one that shot at Megan. And that she is the one that was attacked because the two men, which is the bodyguard and Tory Lanez, tried to pull the gun away from her and it shot off twice. And this is new breaking news. And it may not be today, it may not be tomorrow, but the truth is always going to come to light. Malcolm X was taken up out of here years ago, even before I was born. But I was born and lived to see the truth of who the person was that did it. There's a lot of truth, y'all, that's coming out, and people are going to be exposed. And like I said before, everybody under the sound of my voice, y'all, mark my words, somebody is going to call you and tell you that they're sorry. Someone's going to see you and can't even look you straight in the eye because they themselves know that they did you dirty. They did you wrong even as a child. And you remember it. And that's going to give you confirmation that, yeah, guilt is eating them up. They can't even speak to you. They can't even look at you. And then the ones that God has gotten a hold to, oh, yeah, they're going to be calling you or texting you and acting like it's all good and try to be nice to you. But until they address the elephant in the room of what they've done to you and how they've done you dirty, that guilt will not be released, and they will not be released to live. And you hear what I'm saying under the sound of my voice. They will not rest easy because God don't play about his. Anyways, I'm Nikki St. Clair. Thank you so much for coming through. And please hit like. Please hit the like, comment, and subscribe, and share if you care. And I will be in touch with you guys later. Thank you so much. Hit the like, y'all. Peace.